Okay, so with that, the first speaker is Scott Golan.
Thank you very much.
Just a second, Scott. Can everybody, including myself, remember to turn off your cell phones, please?
Thank you, and Roxanne, thank you for including me in this. I also want to thank you for your extraordinary leadership on this issue. Hopefully what I'll be able to demonstrate today is just how important this issue is to the future of our community. I also want to recognize the effort that each of you make. You're giving up a Saturday morning today. I know you've given up a host of Saturdays and other meetings and trips to Nashville that have taken up your time and energy. But hopefully what I'll be able to depict today is that all that time and brain damage is for good purpose. So let's think about what our community might look like in the year 2025 if form-based codes are adopted as proposed, and if we move forward in neighborhoods that create places that matter. By the way, how do I... Okay, so it's the year 2025. The population of our city, this is the whole city, has gone from 372,279, and if the mayor were here, he would quote you that number, to 1,134,777 citizens. We will have tripled. The value of our real estate in the city of Cincinnati will have gone from $16 billion to $48 billion. The budget for our city will go from $800 million today to $2.4 billion. And with that comes the opportunity to invest in neighborhoods in a way that, if we look at our crime rate in that time, the safest place to be is in the city. The schools are the best in the city. We're capturing the graduates of our fine universities, and in fact, we're a magnet for other schools to come to our community. We haven't had a conversation about social service agencies or Section 8 housing since the year 2014. It's all gone away. So, you might ask, what did I get in my coffee at Pleasant Park? Let me...
we'll all sign up.
Let me explain what's happening demographically and why this really can and should happen. And as a consequence of what you're doing, I believe that this will occur. There are a couple of things happening right now with the demographic trends. In the barbells of the young and the older, there is a desire to be in urban environments. If you look at that graph, and it might be hard for you to read, and by the way, some of these maps might be tough from the back. You may be better off over here. And if I'm in your way, tell me. But there is right now a very strong propensity for the young and the old to prefer an urban environment. But there are other factors that are going on right now. They're actually driving what's not on the barbell ends to think about urban living. If you can read the 1 point, a study 5 years ago said that 87% of people who are thinking about buying a home are looking to reduce their commute. And that was well before $140 barrel oil, $4 gas. Now that obviously moves around, but that was 2004. 60% of prospective homeowners are looking for a community that effectively is what form-based codes would drive toward. So the punchline is that demographically, there will be 80 million people moving to cities in North America by the year 2025. 80 million people. What's our fair share of that? Are we one of the 80 greatest cities in North America? Anybody disagree that we are? So should we get 1/80th of that? I think if we move forward with form-based codes, we will. So let's think about our share being 1 million people coming to Cincinnati to live, to work, to play. So start calibrating your mindsets around that, because that is our fair share.
Arrow down.
Thank you. So there are a couple other things that are driving this. Health benefits are significantly improved in a walkable environment. You can read this, but for every minute you walk, you add 3 minutes to your life. Walking for 30 minutes a day basically gets the job done. Short bouts of walking, and in fact, the way you could walk if you aren't dependent on your car, can meet your daily need for exercise. Frankly, we were built to walk, and this is all about creating an environment that fosters that once again. And the cost of not walking, and this was 12 years ago in 1997, was calculated to be $50 billion a year. So if we can reduce obesity, diabetes, heart disease, because people are walking, that becomes a very, very important attribute. There are environmental dimensions to this too. 33% of our carbon emissions come from transportation. 2/3 of that, or I'm sorry, 60% of that is coming from personal automobiles. So you do the math. 20% of our carbon emissions are coming from personal automobiles. We frankly can't afford to continue to drive for every personal need that we have. We've got to get out of our automobiles to save our economy, or our environment. There's also the fact that compact walkable environments consume less land. That also provides for us a greater stewardship of our land over time. So there are some clear environmental benefits to walkable urbanity, and there are community benefits too. Walking increases the social capacity by providing face-to-face interactions, and for every 10 minutes that you spend in your commute in your car, you decrease your activity in your community by 10%. Just think about what that does if we can reverse that. Riding transit is 170 times safer than being in your automobile. And compact communities, walkable communities, are much easier to police, much easier to keep safe. They're much easier to provide infrastructure for. And the thing that hasn't been talked about too much, but it's coming, is in that middle of the demographic, you have a lot of families that are seeking schools or big yards or, frankly, safety out in the suburbs. Fast forward to 2025, it's going to be the other way around, because it's going to be easier to be safe in a city than out in the suburbs. One other fact before we leave this is the traditional family that is desirous of such a community actually is now less than 25% of the population. So these core nuclear families that I grew up in, and probably many of you did, are shrinking. And go back to the barbell. It's a profound shift in the way people want to live. So, data versus dreams. Can Cincinnati really triple its population, the value of its real estate, and marshal enough financial resources to do all the things that we talked about? And will the city be able to compete effectively with the suburbs as we move forward? I'd be asking that question if I were in your seat.